Why, hello. This is a special video to quickly address the news you have probably overheard or seen on the news or on the internet about the protests that have gone on across the country in the United States this week and weekend that have been dealing with racism in our country. Now, I am going to hold a small group on Wednesday morning at 11. If you would like to learn more about this, ask questions, you're confused. Now, I want you to have parent permission so that we can talk about these events. But if you would like to join and discuss this, I would absolutely love to have you. Now, I do want to share a few thoughts about our class, what we have learned, and how it connects to the protests without giving too much detail. So we started talking about personal identity. You made your identity webs, and we compared and contrast to where we all come from. We talked about problem stories, sometimes simple stories of like breaking a pencil and not being able to do your homework, to big stories that deal with your family and issues in your life. Then we talked about human rights. That could have been like the right to education, the right to clean water, the right to a safe home, the right to be like free of war. And we learned that even though these rights seem so basic, so obvious, so simple, they are denied throughout the world right now. Right now, there are kids that are not going to school because they are working. There are kids who do not have enough to eat. There are kids and people that do not have clean water to drink. Instead, they are walking for water instead of going to school. And for a variety of reasons, there are kids that do not go to school. We also read that people's lives are interrupted by war and religious persecution. We've read about all of these things. We've also read these beautiful books of different characters that have had to undergo a variety of challenges, from Save Me a Seat to Bridge Home to Ghost, just these awesome books of such different characters that have all kind of used this grit and determination to get through the challenges they face in their life and do it with humor and, just like send our imaginations wild. Then in social studies, we studied slavery. We learned that when Europeans came here and discovered that the conditions in the Caribbean were quite similar to Guinea and that they could grow sugar, they tried to enslave the native populations, but that the native people became sick and they weren't able to keep them enslaved. So they started to bring people over from Africa that they would capture and bring over on boats. And we learned that this grew into a giant industry that made millions and millions of dollars, and that no one was here because they wanted to be here. They were held against their will. And we very slowly and carefully studied the history of slavery. We also did Black History Month, which was one of the best times we had this year. We learned about so many people. Neil deGrasse Tyson and Star Talk, Dr. Chester Pierce, who helped create Sesame Street to be an anti-racist tool. Marley Diaz, who did the 1,000 Black Girl books. Remember? Like, so many people. The list goes on and on. I think we studied like 20 different people. Misty Copeland, Muhammad Ali. It went on and on and on. Just these wonderful, beautiful people. And then we had the coronavirus. And we all went home. And we haven't seen each other again. And it's been a crazy year. It's been a year that you will never forget. You will never forget the year that school was interrupted. You will never forget me, not because I'm me or anything, but because I was your teacher when this happened. And finally, my message to you is to be aware of what's being said, done, that might hurt others, that is hurting others, and be an upstander. Say something, call it out. Don't let it just go by. And finally, like Dr. Chester Pierce or Marley Diaz, be creative and organize to help others. Start your Sesame Street, start your book club, whatever you can do to make a change, to be a difference. Do it, do it, do it. Thank you.